Depression is one of humanity's oldest companions, shaping kings, collapsing empires, inspiring art, and silently haunting millions today. But where did our understanding of depression begin? How did it evolve? And why does it remain one of the most misunderstood conditions on Earth? Today, we're opening the vault on a story spanning thousands of years, one that might change the way you see mental health forever. Welcome back to the History Vault. If you're new here, join us as we dig into the deepest corners of human history to uncover the stories behind the world we think we know. The history of depression begins long before medicine, psychology, or even writing. Ancient Mesopotamian tablets from over 4,000 years ago describe sadness, loss of energy, and despair, symptoms we'd instantly recognize today. But these civilizations didn't see depression as an illness. They believed it was caused by spiritual forces, angry gods, or demonic possession. Treatment wasn't science. It was ritual, prayers, offerings, chants, and exorcisms. Yet even then, humans recognized that intense emotional suffering wasn't just a bad mood. It was something deeper, heavier, and frighteningly persistent. Fast forward to ancient Greece. Around 400 BCE, Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, rejected supernatural explanations. Instead, he proposed the theory of the four humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. Depression, he believed, came from an excess of black bile. He named it melancholia, from the Greek words for black and bile. This was the first time depression was treated as a physical condition, not a spiritual one. Of course, the theory was wrong, but it was revolutionary. Suffering had a natural cause, and that meant it could have a natural cure. Roman doctors expanded on Greek ideas, but as the Roman Empire collapsed and Europe entered the Middle Ages, scientific thinking faded. Depression was once again tied to sin, moral weakness, or demonic influence. People suffering from severe depression might have been isolated, punished, or forced into religious care. Monasteries often became early mental health centers, some compassionate, some harsh. This era shows how society's beliefs can shape how we treat people in pain, for better or worse. During the Renaissance, depression took on a surprising new image. Melancholy became associated with creativity, genius, and deep thought. Artists, philosophers, and poets embraced it as a mark of sensitivity and intelligence. Albrecht Dürer's famous engraving, Melancholia I, turned depressive suffering into art. Writers described it as a noble burden carried by thinkers and dreamers. Although romanticized, this shift brought compassion, a recognition that emotional pain wasn't a sin, but a human experience linked to the depths of the mind. By the 1700s and 1800s, science and philosophy re-emerged as powerful forces. Doctors began collecting clinical observations. Some theorized that depression was tied to the nervous system. Treatments ranged from herbal remedies to early talk therapies. But there were also darker chapters like rest cures, forced isolation, and institutions that did more harm than help. Still, the Enlightenment cracked open the door to modern psychiatry by insisting that mental illness was real, measurable, and treatable. In the early 1900s, Sigmund Freud introduced a radical idea. Depression could stem from internal conflict, loss, and early life experiences. Psychoanalysis encouraged talking, exploring thoughts, memories, and emotions. Although much of Freud's theory is outdated today, he helped shift global understanding from the body to the mind. Depression wasn't just physical, it could be emotional, psychological, and deeply personal. In the mid-20th century, something unexpected happened. While testing new tuberculosis drugs, doctors noticed patients suddenly became energetic and hopeful. This accidental discovery led to the first antidepressants. Over the next decades, medications like MAOIs, tricyclics, and eventually SSRIs transformed treatment. For many, these drugs were life-changing. For others, they brought side effects and controversy. But one thing was clear: depression was no longer treated as a character flaw. It was recognized as a medical condition that could be scientifically targeted. As medical treatments evolved through the 20th century, another battle was unfolding, one not in laboratories or doctors' offices, but in everyday life. Depression carried a heavy cultural stigma. In many places, admitting you were depressed was seen as weakness, laziness, or a personal failure. People hid their symptoms from employers, family, and friends. Some were told to toughen up, snap out of it, or simply keep their struggles private. In the early to mid-1900s, talking about mental illness publicly was rare and often risky. Many workplaces wouldn't hire someone with a psychiatric history. Insurance companies denied coverage. Even within families, depression was whispered about, if it was acknowledged at all. This silence caused millions to suffer alone, often without treatment, creating what historians now call a hidden epidemic. But slowly, things began to change. After World War II, a generation of soldiers returned with psychological wounds, what we now call PTSD. Their struggles forced society to confront the reality that emotional suffering wasn't a sign of weakness. By the 1960s and 70s, activism around mental health grew. Public figures, writers, musicians, and artists began speaking openly about their experiences. Their voices chipped away at a wall of shame built over centuries. The late 20th century saw the birth of support groups, crisis hotlines, and widespread mental health campaigns. Television and film started portraying depression more honestly. Schools began teaching students about emotional well-being. For the first time, mental health wasn't just a medical issue. It was becoming a cultural conversation. This shift didn't erase stigma, but it did begin a long journey toward understanding. Depression was no longer just a private burden. It was recognized as a human challenge, shaped by biology, environment, and life experiences. And as more people spoke up, awareness grew, compassion spread, and the path toward modern mental health advocacy truly began. This chapter in history reminds us that progress doesn't come only from scientific breakthroughs, but from changing hearts, minds, and conversations. As medicine advanced, psychiatrists created formal guides for diagnosing mental health conditions. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, known as the DSM, standardized the symptoms of depression: persistent sadness, loss of interest, sleep changes, appetite changes, difficulty concentrating, and more. This allowed doctors across the world to speak the same diagnostic language. But it also sparked debates. Is depression one disorder or many? How much is biology, environment, trauma, or stress? These questions still shape modern research. Today, neuroscience has uncovered far more about depression's complexity. Brain scans reveal changes in mood-related circuits. Hormones, genetics, trauma, and environment all play roles. Treatments now include medication, therapy, lifestyle support, brain stimulation therapies, and digital tools. We've learned that depression isn't a single problem with a single cause. It's a multi-layered condition that touches the brain, the body, and the human experience itself. As we move into the future, understanding of depression continues to evolve. Researchers are exploring personalized treatments tailored to each person's biology. Technology is creating new paths for support. AI tools, digital therapy, mood tracking apps, and early warning systems. Stigma is shrinking as more people share their stories openly. And while depression remains one of humanity's greatest challenges, we now know this: no one has to face it alone. The more we understand its history, the better we can build a future where compassion and science work hand in hand. Thank you for exploring the long, complex history of depression with me. If this video helped you learn something new or gave you a deeper perspective on mental health, let me know in the comments. And if you want more powerful deep dives into the stories that shaped our world, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the History Vault, and share this with someone who might find it meaningful. Until next time, stay curious, stay thoughtful, and I'll see you in the next episode.